Hi everyone, it's been a while since I did a video, especially in my greenhouse, March 30th, 2026, and I'm excited to kind of talk about what I'm growing. I turned my fan off. I actually did this video yesterday, but I had to leave my fans on. It was 85 degrees in here, so I'm in at lunchtime. It's 70. Perfect time just to do a video and talk about food resilience, and preparing for more increase at the grocery store, and starting by seed. Everything that I'm going to show you, and I'm excited to show you, this year has been so successful for me. What I'm growing, and I'm doing food and medicines and perennial flowers. And this is just the first allotment because a lot of these will be hardened off. I know for a fact we're 2 weeks, we were told to plant early this year, 2 weeks in advance, in zone 7A, 7B. So already my gardens are filled with beets and carrots and kale, lettuce, and sugar snap peas. They're all coming up. I had seeded a couple weeks ago, and I still need to start cucumbers and other things that I'm waiting to do, along with direct sow. That's where it's directly sown into the soil. But in January, the end of January, I knew I wanted to have a bigger food garden along with a medicine garden, and to also work with some of the areas of me moving into this new homestead over a year ago, of some really poor soil that had been barren for many, many years. So I'm going to be fixing that with fresh milky oats, and which that oats is then put back in to the ground, and it's given lots of nutrients and will help heal that area for perennial pollinators. So I'm really focusing on a new area where I have more sun, and so a lot of the plants reflect this. I had poor growth of my medicinals last year, putting them up in the pollinator cottage gardens, and so I have made new space for those where they'll have more sun. But let's go back to the food situation. So for years, I didn't have success with seeds. I also didn't have a greenhouse. I didn't have a good setup to have lights and heat mats either. So I didn't grow as much food. But at this point, I think about the COVID time when a lot of people had victory gardens by the second year in COVID. And, you know, the teachings that went behind it is the old way really needs to be today's way. And also about how to have healthy soil, compost, and not be using, which now you are going to have a hard time getting, fertilizers, and farmers are suffering due to our world situation. So if you can grow seeds, you are going to save a lot of money. You can grow a lot more. So then that way your germination rate is better, and you can be more successful in gardening. I container garden, I porch garden, I vertical garden, I have raised beds, and I have directly into the ground. So I do all different types of gardening to meet my needs for pest control. And you learn as you go, like especially with squash and zucchini, like those are squash bugs. And I had tomato hornworms last year, which didn't bother me. I got a blue light, I found them, and gave them to the birds. I don't have chickens. Love to have chickens, but that's not in my future. Or bees. but I'll attract the bees. So with no further ado, I want to kind of show you what I've been doing and talk a little bit about the plants that I'm growing and why, and the importance of it, whether it's medicinal or for food. So let me bring you on down and show you what I got going on. Okay, so I'm peeking my head over here. I took Tulsi out of the ground last year in fall, and I planted her and put her right in here into the greenhouse, and I've been harvesting her over the winter. I had her on a heat mat until just recent. There's no need for a heat mat. And she has provided tea for me several cups a week, and I'm very appreciative of that. So Tulsi can overwinter. She'll need heat. A lot of people actually grow Tulsi in their homes as a form of prayers and abundance and wealth. So this is my Tulsi. It flowered. I'm just enjoying her for tea. She smells amazing as soon as I touch her. And Tulsi has become, last year I didn't grow enough for sure. I did make some lovely tea for some of our customers who got the little sweet little pouch of it that had lemon balm and Tulsi and peppermint and oats in it. So they've asked, can we buy it again? We loved it. So I promised that I would grow Tulsi. So I've got Tulsi, lots of different Tulsi here. This is all Tulsi, Tulsi. And I'm going to start pinching it back because it's going to start flowering. And she's not ready to go out yet. I love calendula. So I've got some pretty big calendula. I'm going to tell you about calendula. It's really important. Is they don't like to be disturbed and put back into the soil by growing it first indoors. However, if you just keep your eye on it, water them once you transplant them, harden them off first, and then go about it that way, they survive. They're hardy. So I'll also direct seed calendula in succession sowing. And I got more Tulsi. And actually I think this is my basil. So I grow three different types of basil. I got lemon basil and cardinal basil. There's more everywhere. This is just a tray that randomly came from over there. And I drink basil tea all summer with cardinal and lemon basil and blueberries and a little honey. It's great for digestion. So I kind of reseeded what didn't come up in the cells. This is some cosmos and some Mexican sunflowers, just filling out the trays. I am so excited about this. This is my moonflowers. Last year I had 4 plants that survived. I started too early in the greenhouse. So I know that January is not a good time to start in the greenhouse. Actually, middle to end of February. She looks so beautiful, and I have a beautiful spot that she's going to go this year. Moonflowers, they produce beautiful white blooms that open at night and are just magical. So last year I struggled with ashwagandha. I saved the seeds, and I probably could have planted a lot more. I went through 2 plantings, so this was in January, and I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is a lot more than I've ever grown before. But we use ashwagandha in our tinctures and maybe our elderberry syrup. So this is important medicine to me, and I teach about it. There's a video on YouTube about even the berries that come on ashwagandha and how it's used in, it's called Run It, in cheese making. But ashwagandha is a very wonderful autoimmune stimulant, though it's a very calming stimulant that you take at night to boost your adrenal system. Back here, I'm growing some pinks, some rose mallow pinks, which kind of look more like hollyhocks. They're an annual. This is going to go in my cottage garden. It's a pollinator. It'll look beautiful. I'm excited to fill out some spots in the pollinator garden that I won't be having medicinal plants in. So, and then my tomatoes. I've got cherry, sweetie, black, crim, and borghese. I'm really particular with what I grow, what I like to eat, and those are the three. So the borgheses are aromas. The cherry sweeties, of course, are your small determinate tomatoes, and then your black crim are indeterminate, which I grow on a cattle panel. Here I've got splanthes. Lots and lots of splanthes. I'll probably offer some of this. I'm doing a part of a plant swap in the third week of April here in Black Mountain. This is medicine. This is amazing medicine. And this is what gets those little red buttons on it. Yellow red. I also have a YouTube video about it. But we use Spilanthes in a tincture. It can stimulate white blood count cells to march on in. And it's great as a mouthwash for excellent oral health care. Along with, we use it in our smoothing face mist because it's nature's own Botox. And then here I've got some more Tulsi. So you see what I'm doing. I've got tall Tulsi here, and then I got the backups, the babies that will come next. Chamomile, I have more over there. I just didn't show it to you. I love chamomile, and again, more calendula that I'm starting in, and then I will direct. So calendula is used in a lot of our skincare. It helps replace dead skin cells with really healing ones. It's so gentle to the skin. It's wonderful. It's one of the best medicinal plants that I love to grow and incorporate in skincare and into salves. And again, more tomatoes. And then roselle. So it almost looks like an okra plant, doesn't it? Well, because it's in the okra family. So roselle is the true hibiscus, also known as sorrel in the Jamaican islands. And I got more this year. They are not going where they went last year. They were very small, spindly. I did not get what I needed from them. So that's another plant that I'm moving somewhere else. I love hibiscus tea in the summer months, especially because as it's astringent, it stops the need for constant thirst. And you can imagine if you're sweating, this is wonderful, high vitamin C. And then I have my Genovese, which I'll have to tease these all out. I grew them in one pot. And of course, you know, this is for me for cooking. Definitely for pesto and cooking food. I've got some more calendula started because, again, this is succession sowing. My anise is so small. I'm really bummed. I really had a hard time with anise this year in the greenhouse. Last year I did really well. So I'm going to reseed again and see if maybe it's the time. This one I did on 315. So I'm going to try again and see what happens. I definitely am doing some pin cushions. I love the dried flower of them. They are wonderful. They keep their colors for a long time. And I can add them as embellishments on soaps. Back here, I've got more succession sowing of beets and kale and lettuce. And I'll start hardening this off today. I won't harden during the daytime. I start at like 5 p.m. And I'll let it sit out for a couple hours. And the next day, I'll go to 4 p.m. and get it to about 8 p.m. at night. And the third day, I'll put it out at 4 p.m. and depending on the weather, I will leave it overnight outside and then give it full sun for about 2 days before I actually plant. So hardening off is really important because your poor plants, if I put these out right now and they look really healthy, these beets, they also need to be watered, Cindy. Check, make mental note. They would really struggle really hard that they just might curl up and die. So today, actually, I think today they're gonna go out for sure. And then, I'm so excited about this. So let me talk about zinnias. So I love zinnias. They are a great pollinator. I have my my Californias back here, and my cutting comes here. This is just gonna fill out one area near my garden. And then everywhere else I'll direct seed. So zinnias also don't like to be transplanted. However, if you dig the hole a little deeper than what you need, they will survive and water in well. So I'm already getting flower heads. With zinnias, the first flower, you always cut back. So, you take it down to this bottom stem. You leave this other bottom one below, or of the leaf. And so she branches out and becomes double what it would have been and not leggy. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on there. This is going to be garden zinnias for the pollinators. My fennel definitely has to be put outside, but I'm waiting to see what happens. We got a lot of rain coming. I don't want it to get over waterlogged. So I might wait till next week. I overwintered. This is so fascinating. It's called Bat Face, and it's an annual. And I overwintered it, and she is big and beautiful, and we'll be going outside soon. So my big Hawaiian Scheffleria, she has loved it in here. Normally she's got to go in the house, and this year I said nope, in the greenhouse. She'll be taken outside soon. Here I have Annie's hyssop, and I already had pinched her back. So, but I will show you real quick. She's getting pretty tall. You pinch back to those sets of leaves right there. And I'll have this for tea tonight. Feverfew, my dahlia. I have sage back there. More dahlias. I'll have the first flowering dahlias for sure. Some calla lilies. Lemon verbena. I overwintered that. Her in here, it's too chancy with the weather. And she needs to be hardened off. But she got big and bold and beautiful. And I want to show you one more beautiful plant that I have. But this has been a successful year. Like I said, I have more I need to get in. And I brought in my fuchsia and overwintered her as well. So I'm outside. This is a japonica. It is actually in the japonica family. It is a Japanese yellow little rose, and she blooms right now. You don't trim the older branches because that's where the new growth comes. And she smells a little sweet like honey. And I'm going to try her in tea. But I'm excited to have this beauty to be put somewhere special around my homestead. So here I have my early cool crops. I'm going to be eating this in my salad for lunch. And I even have Brussels sprouts this year. So take a risk. Plant a garden. Do what you need to do. Get your seeds in, or even if you have to buy seedlings. There's free places to get seeds. Your local library, look for plant swaps or seed swaps. Be part of it. People who don't have nothing, who show up, are going to be given what they really might need or desire to grow. Reach out to your community. If you don't have the money to grow food, there are resources. Find them. Grow some food. Container garden. Do what you need to do. Be successful, and I'll tell you what, there is no disappointment in homegrown tomato, cucumber, or any food you grow. There's no disappointment like buying it in the store is disappointment. So keep that in mind. All right, everyone, have a great day.